Paul Angus says Johan Lang is crap at his job.
Why? I think he's done all right, hasn't he? I mean, I guess again you could say in the summer again we could have done more, but I really like who we've brought in, and I really think
Was it last summer his first summer window?
Yeah,
wasn't the greatest window,
January
was it?
as well. Yeah, January Dragoshin brought in.
Yeah, I mean he's done okay. I don't think he's done unbelievably well.
I guess it depends what the remit was. Maybe he's done his job, but I think for him to be able to getting all these talented youngsters I think it's underestimated how important that is. It's very, very important, and it gives you planning for the future. It also gives you these hungry players looking to start their careers, looking to make an impression, looking to really battle. So I like what he's brought in. Obviously, Solanke was great,
but you just don't know when these players are actually going to be completely ready to start week in, week out. And that's what we need. We need players to come in that are ready to start week in, week out.
Oh, well, but we've got that.
But we need more. We need better quality.
But we've got good quality at the moment. It's
But
not
we
like
need better.
we're struggling.
We are struggling. We're 10th in the league.
No, I'm not saying like that. My point is, I'm not saying we're struggling. Like, I look at the squad and I think we've got a good squad. Like, we have a good squad. I know we're 10th in the league and the results, but we've spoke about the context of the season. We're playing well at the moment. Yes, we could be doing better. We don't have the best team in the league for sure, but we've got a very good team. Like, I don't see this team and think, oh, like I'm lost for how we're going to improve and stuff like that. We've got some really good players.
All right. The elite estimator says anyone who is critical of Ange and growing pains doesn't want an actual product. They just want magical instant results, which is only possible with buying big players, which we won't do. I mean, if you don't want magical instant results, then what do you want? Of course, everyone wants magical instant results.
Come on, give me some magical instant results. I wouldn't mind that. Anyone's critical doesn't want an actual project. Look, I disagree. I think there are things that are valid to be critical of, even within the project. Obviously, you have to understand when you have a manager like Ange, and he's obviously trying to develop something. There will be, mistakes made, and there will be bad results and sometimes inconsistency at the start. Doesn't mean along the way you can see something that's wrong and call it out because you think it's wrong. But also doesn't mean just because you're right about that being wrong doesn't mean that Ange is bad, if you know what I mean. Doesn't mean he can't fix that problem. It doesn't mean that things can't improve just because they're bad now or something's wrong at the time. Doesn't mean those things can't change and can't improve. So, I think you can criticize Ange, but I think saying being critical of someone but also saying this can't be fixed is something else.
I hate this whole narrative. Like, if you're critical about something, you want him out. Like,
No,
if you wanna criticize Ange, that means you're Ange out. I mean, it's all bollocks. Like, you can criticize Ange, but still want him in the job and can see the progression that they've made from the last season. So, as much as you can be critical about a player or a staff member or a manager or whatever, it doesn't mean you all of a sudden want them out and they're at a dead end, right?
Exactly.
And I think that's where we're at with this. Yido90 says Romero is overrated and our most protected player from criticism.
I think plenty of people criticise him, don't they? I would say so. I don't think he's protected. He's overrated. I think he's a great centre back. I think he's overrated. What? Overrated in how he plays for Tottenham. I mean, maybe you can make the argument because for Tottenham, he's not as good as he is for Argentina. That's probably true, just because of the defensive record of Argentina is absolutely ridiculous, and unfortunately, our defensive record is not like that. And he doesn't. I don't see him making as many mistakes. But then again, I feel like he has to do a lot more one-on-one defending for Tottenham than he does for Argentina, and the structure in Argentina is very different. He's a bit more protected from the midfield and stuff like that. And for Tottenham, we play with a lot of risk, and there's a lot more space, and he has to cover a lot more space, and he has to do a lot more different stuff. So, is he overrated? It depends how highly we rate him. I think a lot of people say he's one of the best centre-backs in the league. I would probably agree with that. Is he better than Saliba? Is he better than Van Dijk? Probably not. Definitely not, I would say, at the moment anyway, unless he gets his consistency. But I still think he's up there, in my opinion. So,
where does he rank in centre-backs in the league for you? Like, who's better than him? So you've given me the two, Van Dijk and Saliba.
Diaz,
Gabriel
at the moment, yeah. I have to unfortunately say
so that's fifth at the moment. Anyone else better than him?
Would you say Konate's better than him? But Konate makes a lot of mistakes. I mean, a few mistakes as well. But I think Konate's pretty good. I do like Konate. But I think at their best, they're very comparable. I'll probably side of Romero at his best, to be honest. Who else do you got? I mean, you can say like Botman, but I'll probably prefer Romero to Botman, but he's been injured a lot. Villa centre back. I like Pau Torres a lot, but I like Pau Torres. But
Romero's better than Pau Torres.
I still think Romero, as much as I like him. Guehi, I prefer Romero. Stones, but he's injured a lot. Stones, who plays in midfield now for City a lot. But you got people like a Kanji, Ake. Do you put them ahead of Romero? You could argue they may be more consistent, but again, at their best, are they better than Romero?
But they're also in more of a settled team as well, so it's hard. It's hard to kind of compare these players when some are in settled teams, some are in not. Romero's not. So, and I also think the system kind of I do think Romero's suited to it, but I think Man City's system is more suited to Akanji and Ake than maybe Romero's is for us.
Maybe. Potentially, I don't know.
Bradley says, the most talented keeper Spurs have had in the Premier League era was Gomez. He's just a period where he lost confidence and made some mistakes which masked how good he was. I mean, he had those couple of seasons with Gomez, but you just never knew what kind of Gomez would turn up on game day. Like sometimes he'd be brilliant.
In terms of like pure talent, just goalkeeping talent, natural talent, I don't know, it's not a bad shout.
Who was a better shot stopper, Gomez or Vicario?
Or Lloris. Lloris was a phenomenal reaction.
Lloris, when he was at the top.
Yeah, he was phenomenal as well. Some of his reflex. I still think Lloris is probably. I think Lloris had the best reflexes. I actually think Lloris still made a few more handling mistakes than I've seen from Vicario. In terms of like, there are shots where you just expect him to save, and like Lloris was amazing at making like unbelievable saves. But there was sometimes like a shot you just expect him to save and he'll somehow squirm in. I haven't seen that from Vicario.
But also you're comparing like 10 years to 1 year.
That's also true. But I haven't. But I think when it comes to like, wow, how's he made that save kind of save? I would say probably the rank would be like. Lloris made probably the most. Probably Gomez would make a lot of those saves, and then Vicario. But when it comes to like pure goals being conceded, where you're like he should have done better there, kind of thing. Obviously, I think Gomez is bottom of that. Then it's probably Lloris, and then I think Vicario is top. I think he very rarely concedes goal like that, where you think like should have.
I can't remember
there.
one, to be honest.
Very rare. Whereas Lloris, there'll sometimes be a case where you're like, you probably should have saved that kind of thing, and I don't see that much from Vicario. But obviously, for Gomez, there was a lot. As much as he made, there was just some sense where his arms, he was called the octopus for a reason. He literally, somehow, like a tentacle would come out from his back and somehow he'd stop it going top corner. You'd think, how the hell has he done that? But I think those would usually be like from.
But then he'd give away 2 penalties in the space of 5 minutes.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Spurs Kings TV, big up Ashur Marlin. Not sure which one it is, but they are big Spence enthusiasts, and he says Spence probably is the best fullback to play inverted Ange role, as his attributes are more suited to the role. Do you think his attributes are more suited to the role as opposed to like Porro and Udogie?
I wouldn't necessarily say that. He's adapted better than I thought he'd adapt. That's for sure. Because I didn't think of him as a player in those in between, like in the middle of the park, who could actually, be quite nimble. And he's adjusted to that quite well. Is he the best fullback to play the inverted role? I still think Porro is probably better than him. I think Porro is probably the most suited to it. Is he? So the question for me is he more suited to the Udogie to play the inverted role? I mean, I haven't seen evidence that he's more suited to it than Udogie, to be honest. As much as people have their complaints about Udogie sometimes in that role, does he like to be on the outside a bit more? But have I seen evidence yet to suggest that Spence is more suited than Udogie? I haven't seen that.
But we have made adjustments to get Udogie on the outside a bit more in recent games. I think Spence is a very good fullback, and I do think we need to be using him a bit more than we are. That's just what I would say. And last but not least, Shawsey says Pape Sarr is overrated.
Shawsey, why? I like Pape Sarr. He's not.
Pape Sarr, though, last season,
overrated.
at the end of last season, or maybe midway through last season, we were saying he's the best young midfielder in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Now, with the start of the season he's had, yes, it's been a bit better in recent weeks. Are we still saying he's the best young midfielder in the Premier League?
Maybe not the best, but he's still one of the best. Can you remember, he's still, 22? He's still very young. And last season was his first season playing consistently. I think he's got so much to grow, and I think he's got so much, he can be so much better. So I'm still very excited about him. Obviously, to be the problem that Spurs fans, again, when we talk about PTSD, in a weird way, because we've had like Skip and Winks, right, who had so much promise and they never really fulfilled it, or they never got to the heights we hoped they would hit. Whenever we see a young midfielder, like, because obviously right at the beginning of their careers, Winks and Skip, a lot of talk was being about them. You've got to remember, whatever you want to say about Winks, early on he was playing for England.
Miniesta.
Yeah, Miniesta. Like, he was playing, remember that game against Real Madrid, like where he played? He was unbelievable, right? And then obviously he never really fulfilled. Again, Skip, talking about future captain, he went on loan to Norwich. He was best player, one of the best midfielders of the Championship. Like, he was under Nuno early on, like, brilliant, right? And so there's a lot of people talking him up, and then again never really got to those heights through injury or whatever. So obviously when we talk up Sarr like we did last year, and then all of a sudden this season he's not as good and he's
Can have
being
ups and
consistent.
downs as a young
exactly,
player.
but then people like who's it, Shawsey will say, oh, he's overrated, because he's thinking about probably Skip and Winks, thinking we all said the same things about them, right? And how good they are, and they never filled, so maybe Sarr's the same. But I believe Sarr's going to go in a different direction.
I kind of feel like Sarr, you're going to see the best of Sarr maybe with our next manager, because I'm not sure on a consistent basis where he's going to fit into this midfield, because I don't think he's a 6. I think he's a box-to-box 8. And with Kulusevski or Maddison playing that role at the moment, more Maddison to be honest in the 8 than Kulusevski, is Sarr going to get the minutes that he needs to really kick on under Ange? I kind of question that.
Yeah, I think he will get a lot of minutes, to be honest, but because, look, they're going to have to be rotated at some point, those midfielders, and obviously he's going to get a lot of Europa League time. So I do think he'll get minutes, but it's on him to really show that improvement. He needs to to earn those minutes in the Premier League, because at the moment, Decky and Maddison together, they're just providing such a great dynamic and something really good for the team. And as much as I love Sarr, if he can't impact the game in the same way they are, then why should he be in the team? That's the reality.
He's just not that player, though. He's not a Kulusevski. He's not a Maddison. He's not.
But he has to impact it in his own way. But he has to impact it as much. I'm not saying he has to be as good as them in those.
He can't impact it in an attacking perspective like anywhere near they can.
Or maybe he has to win the ball double as much as they do or something. Well, not maybe double as much. But I'm just saying he has to. At the moment, he's not impacting games as much as they are. And
albeit 2 goals and an assist in his last 3 games.
Yeah, true. And maybe if he keeps up that kind of thing, he can. But he has to. If he has to do it in his own way, he obviously can't dribble like Decky and be as press resistant as Decky and stuff like that, or be as creative as Maddison. But he has to do it in his own way, with his own skill set. Does that mean covering double the amount of ground they cover, or whatever it is, or But yeah, if he can't, but I'm not saying he has to be as good as them in what they're good at, but he has to impact the game in his own way as much as they are. And if he can't do that, he won't be in the team.
All right, so there you have it. That is our unpopular opinions. I hope you enjoyed those, guys.